Live from Zeppo's alongside Cougar head coach Nick Rolovich, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
Washington State is 1-0 in 2020. And Coach Rolovich, congratulations on your first Cougar W and your first Cougar game.
Thank you. And thank you congratulations to these kids. They worked hard to get to that point, and I thought they played the game the right way. Very focused and very determined when they entered the stadium. So they felt good about themselves, and I think they should have.
Jaden DeLora, the Pac-12 freshman of the week, the winning quarterback in his first game, a league game, a road game. How do you think Jaden played?
I think they obviously is good enough to win that award. I think there's a lot of things we can clean up and get better at and be more accurate downfield and be on time on some throws. But for the most part, I thought everyone got a chance to see how he belongs on the football field. I think he has fun playing. I think he was very competent, but with some confidence. I think he did a lot of good things in the box as far as directing the offensive line and changing protections and some very veteran stuff. So that's a nice job by Coach Stutz getting him ready to go. Was that your expectation, and is that what you thought would happen in sending the true freshman out there and how it all went with practice and leading up to it? I don't know. I braced myself for a few more freshman mistakes, I think. But some of the things he put on film as far as ball security, I think those are things people are going to start keying on and seeing if they can swipe at the ball. So those are things we've worked on this week. Not that he lost footballs, but I just thought the ball was somewhat careless in the pocket when he's moving around, To what degree do you guys – there's a group of people, a company called Pro Football Focus. They do like advanced analytics for football. They rated him as high as any quarterback in America. Do you guys look at that stuff? Does it mean anything to you? Well, I think they do a really nice job. I don't know all their criteria and what they're looking for, but they're very diligent. They look at – I know the guy who kind of started that. We talked a lot when I was working at Reno with some scouting report stuff and a little bit, and he took it and he's run with it, and it's a pretty big operation as far as imagine somebody watching every player, every play, grading them. I mean, it's a fascinating operation he's got. So, but I think they do got some street cred in the football world. I think they know what they're talking about. Yeah, it's fun to have numbers to latch onto. Very selfishly, it makes it easier to legitimize stuff, and so it's interesting to hear. Well, they do a lot in just general scouting reports also for the opponent. It's not just grades for social media. They do a lot, where it makes things move a little bit smoother and a little bit easier early in the week. I thought everything was for social media. It's 2020. I thought this was just the Twitter world, right, or something like that. It is. But speaking of which, love the duck call in the snowy Martin Stadium video. Was that your? How did we come to this? How did this happen? Tell me about this. Billy Meatballs helped me with that. Billy Meatballs and just an idea. It's not saying anything about the game. We're just we're welcoming them to our pond. Our guys are excited to play. I love it. That was a snowy video. Yeah. What was practice like today? What's the field like? How's it like out there? Cold, but our guys, they don't flinch, man. They're a pretty special group. Seems like an upbeat. I was there for a little bit. Yeah. Spirits are high. Guys are bouncing around. They have a lot of fun, but they still have the ability to focus. They don't get off track. It's kind of inside of that. Maybe it's not everyone's preparation tunnel, but ours is maybe a little bit bigger where you can get outside the lane and smile as long as you're, it's along the lines of getting better. Travell Harris, who was the best player on offense last game? If you had to pick, maybe pick a few. I think we gave it to Dion. Okay. Especially just I think some of the big runs were great. But I don't know if everyone, remember that play where he gets hit, he spins around, keeps his balance, and one of the best plays he did, there was a 3rd and 2, and he really pushed the pile, and you see the old lineman getting on his back and moving it forward. You just saw real togetherness in that play. So, a lot of people did a lot of great things to help win that football game. Travell obviously was very productive. And the O-line, I thought, had a good game also. Yeah, the holes for Dion were Mack truck wide, right? I mean, he was running through some big spaces of green there. Yeah, and that's kind of what can happen with, 10 personnel, 4 receivers out there. They have to cover it, and they have to choose how they're going to cover it, and sometimes that leaves light boxes and allows our our guys to get bodies on bodies, which is just a lot of space for the running backs to take advantage of.
As we learn about the run and shoot and what it'll be at Washington State and dissecting some of this, we saw 30 rushes and 33 passes. Is that reflective, you think, of how you want this to go? Was that game flow? Will it just kind of be always game flow?
Probably game flow. I mean, for us, being able to run the ball and just take what they give us. If they give us a light box, we're going to run the ball. If they give us, pressure, we're going to get the ball out to our guys, let them make plays. So it really depends on what we're getting defensively.
Receiving-wise, it was 4 guys who caught balls. Travell had 7 for 107 and 2 touchdowns. Let's talk more about Travell. He had 3 total touchdowns because of the 44-yard rush. But
right.
How good was he, and what did you see from that ball game that you want to highlight that Travell did?
Well, I thought he tracked those deep balls really well. I think he understood where he fits in the offense. I think there were some times where, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but receivers will know when they're getting the ball just because of the coverage. After reps and reps and reps and hearing how the quarterback's reading it, they can only help but absorb that information, and it makes them more aware on the field. It also, like we've said before, it also lets them understand when they most probably aren't going to get the ball, but how are they going to run their route to help open somebody else up? And I think he's really latched on to that.
And you're talking like timing of release of the ball in the air.
When it's gonna come, but even pre-snap, okay, I know I've seen this play versus coverage before. I know where the quarterback's taught to go with the ball. You know that there's a high possibility that you can get it. When
you were at Hawaii and you were running the run and shoot and you were playing, how long did it take you to figure things out with wide receivers? Because you kind of famously, as a player, went 8-1. You came in there. You had this incredible stretch. You went right into it, but you'd practiced time before. What's the time span that it takes sometimes?
Hard to say. I think so much is off the field, spending time with those guys in the locker room, having that relationship. Where a guy like Travell would take Renard, take them all. Really, they're all good people and they want to win. And I think it shows, how they kind of took Jaden in, and didn't treat him like he's some pariah because he's a freshman, and that's all the freshmen. So I think it's the character of the older guys in the locker room that really, kind of fast forward it to a good place.
Have you been on teams and seen teams where freshmen just kind of get,
oh yeah,
is that the thing?
Or walk-ons get treated bad. It just doesn't make sense. The walk-ons really, if you think about it, are doing everything scholarship players are doing except they're paying for it, and I think they become a big part of the personality because of how hard they work. And the guys know, they respect it.
Speaking of walk-ons, one of your leading tacklers, top 3 tacklers were George Hicks, Aiden Hector, and Brendan Jackson. Aiden Hector's a brand new player, brand new walk-on.
Yeah, did a good job in a short period of time. Kind of got forced into some action and was able to, perform a lot of stuff he can get better at too. But he was in the right place at the right time a bunch of times and came up with some tackles.
What does it mean to you? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it what's indicative, what's not? As hey, our head baseball coach just walked in here, by the way.
Hey, how about that baseball recruiting class?
Yeah, how about that class? Brian Green just walked in.
Brian Green.
Round of applause at Zeppos. BG, great to see him. You got your top tacklers, Hicks, Hector, Watson, Isom, and Marsh. That's your whole secondary.
Yeah.
You're starting secondary, 5 of your top 6 tacklers.
Sometimes that's not always a good thing.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it mean Jefferson was getting back there?
I'm going to look at it like good. That we got DBs that are willing to tackle and can make plays. I'm sure, as everyone who watched the game, there was some really nice defense played early on as far as stopping the run. I think they came in with the idea that they were going to try to pound it down our throat. And especially the first few series, our defense really stuffed them and kind of forced them to rethink their plan possibly. And the offense struggled early, so defense picked them up, and then we're able to get that one touchdown and kind of get on the move.
Finished off a bunch of sacks in the ball game. R.J. Stone forced the fumble.
Yeah, I got to apologize. I made a bad mistake taking that penalty instead of allowing R.J. to get that 9-yard sack. That's bad. That's on it's on me. But we also had some things to iron out as far as coaching staff within a game. As far as, okay, you guys want this penalty, you want second and whatever it was, second and 15, or you want third and 9. You know what I mean? And I don't think we had gone through that process. So that was good that it happened, and I think we'll be on a better page here. But RJ should have had another sack.
Shelving that moment, the rest of the game, coaching-wise, this was the coaching staff's first game also, as you just alluded to. How did that go?
Well, we won.
Yeah,
went
pretty well. Went well enough to be 1-0.
Went fine. I really enjoyed watching, and I'm not sure what you could see on TV. I haven't watched the TV copy, but I don't. If you could notice the communication with the coaches and the kids on the sideline, and their focus when they came off of a series, they're sitting down. What's happening. There's good. All I heard was good information that was useful. So, and that's the key. Give us information we can use, and we've talked about that. And I think they respect their coaches. I think they feel like they're getting better with their coaches, and that's just those little pockets of, little societies really, and they're really yearning to get some information that they can take to the field and get better at.
How much involvement on the sideline do you have in those little meetings, and do you try to stay separate?
I stay out of the defense unless it's, okay, this is, if it's a point where more of a game management thought process, right? But Jake and the defensive crew are do a good job from what I saw and what able to be around. Offensively, it's more with, Dion's run I spoke of. I know we went and talked about that, the O-line, just making them feel good. But a lot of the communication that I'm involved with is with the quarterbacks and wide receivers.
How do you think it went moment to moment? You're there, you're in the game, you've got quick decisions to make, communication has to happen. You, Brian Smith, your center. But I love the story of the whole deal. You're coaching with your center and your wide receiver. It's like get the ultimate guys back together.
Yeah, good and good buddies, but also we've, I think, developed between the three of us a real it's hard to say comfortable, but a real effective weekly plan and game day plan. And there's times where Stutz has spent some time in some tempo stuff, so we have the opportunity to do all these things, and sometimes it might be, all right, Stutz, take the tempo thing. There's a lot of great communication, I think, between myself, Brian, and Stutz.
What was the empty stadium like? What was the game day like? What were all the differences from a regular game day to this? How did it feel?
There were less distractions.
Okay.
Nobody telling me I'm fat or I'm ugly or things like that.
A little less hostility.
Yeah, the cardboard cutouts.
A little quieter.
Yeah. I think we should put little bubbles of sayings on ours.
That's a good idea.
Like Batman.
That's a good idea. Yeah, pow. Yeah. So the thing that was really different, there's all this stuff going on the field in pregame, right? Normally, band, literally pyrotechnics. You got steam and fire, and maybe you have the anthem. You have all kinds of stuff. And then the teams run out, and you don't realize they run out like 3 minutes before kick.
Right.
They get out, you do the coin toss, you get out and go. And I'm watching. We had this feed, this 22 shot, and this field's empty, and we're looking at the watch, looking at the clock, and then boom, you guys ran out, and it is game time right away.
Yeah.
So you're in the locker room, you must be on there just ready to roll.
Yeah, we didn't adjust the countdown clock at all.
Okay.
But it really was. It was all right. Leave the locker room. Let's go play football, and we come back in.
Let's go back to Pullman.
Yeah, it was kind of pure, actually.
Yeah. Was it a little bit like high school, like going back, to not Power 5, just an empty stadium, and you're.
Maybe more like Pop Warner practice.
Really? Like way back. Yeah.
Absolutely nobody watching.
Yeah, right.
At least you got your mom and dad in high school watching.
Right.
Maybe your girlfriend or but.
Yeah, like 8th grade, 7th grade practice. Yeah. Oh, hey, we'll keep talking about the game in Reeser. We'll take a break. We're up against it. We actually have tons of questions on Twitter. Maybe we'll get some from write-ins here at Zeppo's. It's great to see everybody. We are live after game week 1. We got the Duck Week coming up. Here it's Coach Rolovich at Zeppo's. We'll take a break and come back live next. here live at Zeppo's. We are talking with Coach Rolovich. We got Brian Green in the house and rudely interrupted a discussion by coming on air with our head baseball coach.
We got headset. We should bring him on.
Very doable.
I mean, holy
very
smokes.
achievable.
You talk about a recruiting machine.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. I mean, those guys are primed. New facility, big recruiting class. Beautiful facility.
Beautiful.
In a prominent part of campus. It looks really good.
Loved the energy last year before we shut down. Those guys were playing well.
In Hawaii. They were out there. They played a series out there.
Yeah. I saw them here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's right. Makes sense. But I was watching. The first series was at the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. They've got big arms, big bats. Are you're a baseball guy?
Yeah,
you're a baseball guy.
I do.
Yeah. There's going to be a celebration of life like none other. However this lines up, when it gets warm again and you can have a beverage at a baseball game. That's just like an American thing. Like, I can't wait for that.
Me too.
Yeah, not that I have many beverages at Cougar baseball games in the booth, to be clear. That's not the way we roll, but you know what I mean? Not many, at least. Bobby Allworth, different story, but, that's different.
It's Bobby the Painter.
Bobby the Painter. Yeah. So Billy Meatballs and Bobby the Painter?
And Bobby the Painter.
What's the background there?
He's worked himself into a nickname.
You got a nickname? That's good.
He's good.
That's good. All right, we got the Ducks coming up here on this Saturday. We're talking about the Beaver game, a 38-28 win. Let's talk a little more about the defense. I skipped down to a walk-on, but George Hicks. George Hicks comes into this season as a lead cornerback on this team, one of the top players in the secondary in terms of experience coming back. He's a big personality. I don't think fans really know George Hicks like they knew of Darian Moulton or guys who had played a ton, but George Hicks is an important part of this defense, and I would imagine the way Jake Dicker does it all schemed up.
Incredibly important. With George, the things that keep coming up from Coach Richardson are trust. Trust in the system. Like, I can trust George to bring me information. George is again, we use the word confident, but he feels like he's supposed to be there. Well, that's my coffee. What, are you gonna take my coffee?
Do you want that coffee?
I'll
give you. You want the coffee? I'll give you the
No,
coffee. I thought you were going
take
cola.
the coffee.
I appreciate it. I stole. I didn't. It's my apologies.
Hey,
my apologies.
Try the soup.
Yeah.
No, but George, multiple times throughout training camp, and as we discussed personnel, Coach Richardson has really commented positively on his trust factor and his football IQ. He understands football, and happy to have. I mean, he's just great to have on a football team.
Good attitude, smart, physically, pack relevant. 6 foot, 177.
George is a guy where he's like, "Hey, George, we're going to go to this school. We're going to see these kids." George will be, "All right, I'm rolling. Let's go."
Yeah, ready.
He wants to do the right thing.
Yeah, he seems like. So, is there a fine line between a big personality?
I wouldn't call George. You call George a big personality?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. That was kind of the spirit of my question. What's the fine line between like a big personality, but also a guy who fits into the team dynamic? Like, is there a difference?
If that personality is about stuff that's not going on in the field, I would say R.J. Stone is a big personality. He's big. Yeah. George has a pretty. I mean, at least on the field and around the building, it's a focused.
Yeah.
Determination that I see more than a big personality.
Sure.
He's not scared to talk to people. He's very personable, but I think RJ's got a big personality.
Well, you had a lot of production out of RJ. You had a lot of production. Brandon Jackson played a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
He was out a lot of last year, and this was a big game back for him.
He's worked hard to get back to this point. I wasn't terribly educated on everything he had been through, but I think the way he played, it was incredibly important to him. I mean, you saw those edges flying around, chasing stuff down from the backside. They played really hard, and that's a tribute to Coach Coop and getting those guys ready.
Felt like the defensive line played like they had something to prove, and they wanted to get out there and show everybody.
I agree, especially early on.
Amir Crowder, who didn't play much last year, was making significant, if not tackles. He had 3 tackles, but you could see him moving guys there on that defensive line on the interior, couldn't you?
Very happy for him. When we started, right, he's at a real low level, and Coach Longo really pushed him, kept pushing him, kept making him, shed that lobster shell and grow a new one and grow and grow and grow. And I told Amir in front of the whole team I was very proud of him. I mean, And I just asked him, did that feel good? And, he said, yeah, it did feel good. And everything he had went through to get to that point, I think it's just a validation of why this game is so beneficial to young people's lives.
Redshirt sophomore from L.A., again, really hadn't played much at all. In practice, he was, kind of buried last year, and there were a bunch of guys ahead of him, and now here he is making significant pack plays against maybe the best running back the Cougs will face, one of the top 3-4 you'll face in the Pac-12.
No, I was very happy for him.
Jalen Watson got his first real playing time here. Coug fans don't know Jalen Watson. That was the first time they've seen, maybe heard of Jalen Watson. Physically, you can't miss him at practice. He's every bit of 6'3", and he's a corner, which in and of itself is rare. How do you think he played? How has he practiced? How did it go on Saturday and now moving here against the Ducks?
Well, I think we've got good depth at corner, and I like the plan that Coach Richardson used to get them in the game. Jalen, has been through a lot to get back to this point, and I think he's just loving every minute of this. And, he's had a real dose of real life, and to get another chance to, pull himself back to this level and get on the field, I'm sure that was an incredible feeling for him.
I think he tweeted he was working at Wendy's before he was here on the Palouse.
Yeah, I think he did tweet that. I didn't want to put it out because that's his business.
Right.
But, I asked him, even when it's cold and it's tough in practice and we're running, I said, does this still beat flipping square burgers? And he said, no doubt, Coach.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So
it's a great opportunity, a great attitude.
Yeah. And it's, his teammates know that too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it, you don't like the free food you're getting. Well, let me tell you something. I was flipping burgers a few months ago to get back to this point. I think you better take that food and be thankful for it.
Well, that's going to take him a long way, won't it? I mean,
it will.
Yeah.
This is a life-changing experience, I think.
Daniel Isom played at safety, and then Armani Marsh played at nickel, and Shaw Smith-Wade played at corner. Shaw Smith-Wade it was his first game. That's a true freshman. That's a Jake Dickert recruit. He was going to go to Wyoming. He's come here, and clearly he can play at a Pac level because he just did.
Yeah, we talked about him early in training camp because I think, and everyone is a true freshman. There's varying mindsets, right? There's guys who, oh my gosh, I can't believe how big it is. It was never that way for Shaw. So kind of in that Joey Hobart, Jaden DeLora, kind of all in that same group.
Good class.
And
those are, Shaw Smith-Wade, that's a Dickert guy. You've got Jalen Watson, he's brand new. Aiden Hector's brand new. Jaden DeLora is a guy that was going to come here, but you kept and you knew him and you knew the family, right? You knew the whole, because he was on the islands and the whole situation. I mean, this is a bright future here, for bright present and a bright future.
Yeah, I hope so. I really the reason why it's bright to me is this team has a really just the mindset. They're not scared. We may get our face kicked in, but they're not scared to fight, and I'll take that all day, every day.
Love it. Hey, Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company. Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We're live here at Zeppo's talking ball with Coach Rolovich. We're back here live next.
It all started with the
football and talking a little bit of baseball here. Our head coach, Brian Green, is here. He's doing a fist bump right now because, Coach, we got a write-in question we got to hit up right away.
Let's hit him up.
This is a great idea, by the way. This is a green light and an affirmative. Coach already said yes. Our director of athletics, Pat Chun, I'm sure he's on board. Are there any thoughts about putting a rooftop bar on the new baseball facility? I mean,
well, I actually think that's a fantastic
right,
idea. I
right.
mean, keep recruiting this way. Who knows what we'll build over there?
Absolutely.
Right?
That sounds like all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We've got all kinds of questions here. We've got write-ins here. Just put them down for a second.
Here's another one.
Yep, some questions pouring in. Bunch on Twitter, but if you get them on here in person, we'll do our darndest to get them in. Oh, this is, well, while we're on rooftop bars, we'll go off of football here and stick with this. Multiple choice. Do you like your – I misread it at first. Do you like your duck cooked, baked, roasted, or smoked?
I like roasted duck.
Good question.
I like roasted.
Yeah, roasted duck.
I'm a big Peking duck at the Chinese restaurant. Oh, yeah.
Delicious.
With the rolls and the sauce.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Really good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. How have your kids enjoyed the snow so far? This is a write-in question here. Have they made a snowman yet?
Yeah. I got all types of snowballs in the backyard and all. So I know when I get home, I look and see what they've been doing back there. They've enjoyed it very much.
I think that people associate you with exclusively palm trees and Hawaiian beaches. And I want to reiterate, Reno, Nevada, like you have done the snow.
Yeah.
This is not your first,
right.
sub
that's
30.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And I do. I mean, when I think Hawaii,
Yeah.
because of the playing days and the coaching and everything. But
you think tropical when you look at
yeah. Well, now I think of cooking. What is it? Pig underground in a fire.
Pig done this year.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
You're on the invite list.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm honored and
Yeah.
flattered. The coffee's delicious, by the way. Coffee is really good. Hey, I don't know this story, and I didn't see this. So this was something that was on game day.
Okay.
And do you coaches have time? There's no time, right? Okay. So if you missed game day, and you did, and I didn't see this either, there was an incredible story about David Shaw and his brother. I did not see. Do you have any?
I saw something about it. I don't know. I did not see it, though.
Okay, yeah. So I don't.
No, it sounded like a real heartfelt, special piece they did.
Okay.
I can't speak on it. Very educated, though.
The follow-up to that was: are there any great stories about our coaching staff? I don't know the context of the David Shaw story to really know. So, we can.
I'm sure there's great stories.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we'll
bring them up sometime.
Yeah, we'll dig them up.
Yeah,
we'll get to them.
I got. How about when we were in college? Me and Brian Smith were roommates, and he was the long snapper and I was the holder. We used to snap down the hallway in our house.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was a big story.
So you lived off campus.
Yeah.
And you're the QB, and Brian Smith, our offensive coordinator, was he's the long snapper, you're the holder, and you're in the hallway of the house practicing.
Yeah, that was fun.
That is fun. Did you live with that? Was it just you two guys, or was it a whole football house?
We had an 8-bedroom football house one time.
Oh, how was that?
We had moped jousting.
Wait a minute.
After a wiffle ball tournament. It was. You ever moped jousted?
I've never even mopeded.
Oh.
Nor jousted.
Oh, I'd like to get you on the jousting.
That sounds awesome. I would love to. Was that like in the hallway or outside?
Thank goodness for social media being invented much later.
Oh, what is your favorite restaurant on Oahu?
One just closed down. It's very sad. Alan Wong's was one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, someone else knew it here. Yeah. Oh, this
Yeah.
is their spot. They're going there. Oh, they're going.
Yeah, it just closed down. I don't know if it's closed yet, but I've heard they're closing. So
I hate to hear that.
Awesome place.
Is that a will it be back, you think, or is it? Who knows? I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's too bad. This was somebody, I guess, back in their house played Back Home, the big song here that we play in Martin Stadium. They asked if you played it for the players. That's kind of hard to pull off in Reeser.
We didn't play it. We didn't play it there.
Yeah,
but
if that's what they meant.
We played it at all the scrimmages. We've always stopped the scrimmage and played it. We also played the fight song at the end of the game, at the end of the scrimmages too.
Yeah, so. That's awesome. All right, we're up against a break. We're going to do a little shorter segment here. Then we'll go to Twitter questions, and we'll keep on rolling. We're live here with Coach Rolovich at Zeppo's talking football. Ball here with Coach Rolo as we've got the Ducks coming in. We'll do an opponent preview segment here in a little bit, but I want to get to some Twitter questions here. And
let's do it.
Let's roll through. John wants to know, did the Beavers use a different defensive scheme this year compared to how they played you at Hawaii last year?
A little bit. I think, there's a lot to study last year because they know the offense and they got to play us, and they could there was a couple new things, but there's only so many things you can do. I know people can – you can play man and you can bring pressure. And I thought early on there was some stemming that, our guys, I think we had to get a little bit used to and get, settled down and get the communication straight. Brian Green did a great job, but there was a couple different things, yeah.
Brian Smith did a great job. Brian Green, the center.
Yeah.
The other Brian Green.
Yeah, that's right.
Both Brian Greens. Yeah. BD Giddens, this is like a three-part question, so we'll pick this apart.
Let's start with number one.
Many head coaches have started their careers as grad assistants, as has Coach Rolo. Could you introduce us to your current GAs and what great qualities have you seen?
Okay, Mac Alexander is helping with special teams. Is familiar with Gobi before. Has done a nice job. There's Mac. Yeah, I know I think he worked with Gobi at Colorado Mesa, or he played for Colorado Mesa probably when Gobi was there. So very diligent, kind of has headed up our FCA. His wife, I know, is involved with that and has, had that opportunity for the team. Rafael Aguilar was at Hawaii with us last year as a defensive GA, defensive line. Came very highly recommended out of a guy I trust out of Sacramento. He's done a wonderful job. He was an O-lineman by trade. It was good for him to get some D-line work. Jesse Bobbitt was kind of is kind of in Jake Dickert's family. Was a guy he really wanted to bring. I like his style. Mitch was here last year with the last group and was was very helpful in the transition. And I know him, and I see Mitch teaching a lot of the young interior D linemen kind of on their own, doing extra work with them, taking them separately, and also was able to answer a lot of questions for us as we kind of just got here, and he was very familiar with stuff.
So 4 graduate assistants.
You can only have 4.
Yep.
We right now we got just by the way we do things. See, a graduate assistant can help coach on the field. So I think it's important to give one to special teams. So those two can handle that. You can give an analyst, but by rule, the analyst isn't supposed to do anything on the field. So we decided to give a graduate assistant to special teams so Gobi can have some help. And then 2 on defense, and Roth's the only one on offense with the offensive line. Colney Castle had a year of GA for us at Hawaii from Yakima. Very familiar with the offense. He's more in the quality control role now.
It's fun to hear about It's a great question from BD Giddens because these guys don't get enough credit. They're working hard. They're up there.
They're working hard, but they don't need a lot of credit.
Not too much.
They're fine.
Not too much. We'll keep it all right.
That's about all they need right there.
There we go.
Their time is coming.
BD Giddens wants to know, as a coach, are you allowed to lift weights with your team to see their gains?
Am I allowed to lift weights with my team?
That's what he's asking. Yeah. Maybe it's a COVID question. Maybe are you allowed in there? I don't know. I don't know what the.
Yeah. I guess I could lift weights with them.
Do you?
Not too much.
Not right now. Okay. All right. Any thoughts on Jimmy Price as blocking back? I'm not sure.
As like a big back.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I enjoy Jimmy. I enjoy his personality. I like him. I don't know that position is
maybe not
high
that spot.
on the priority right now.
All right. Well, but BD, we thank you for listening and thanks for your participation. And Trevor Williams, great Coug here in town, wants to talk to you a little bit about the forecast coming up on Saturday. Potential wins on Saturday. What's the hardest part of play calling for an offense in windy conditions? Are there ways to kind of combat it for QBs to stay effective through the air?
Oh, I do think there is. Wind is one thing when you're throwing the ball a bunch. I think that scares people more than anything else. I remember Mouse Davis saying that. I remember, June would say that also. There is wind scheduled. I think it's coming out of the south-southwest or west-southwest. I think if I understand the people who have been around the stadium a bunch, you got the Cub, you got the facility, you've got the press box that may block a bunch of that if it's coming from that direction, and if it gets windy on the field, it's real windy is what they're saying. So there is a swirl to the stadium, I'm told. The kickers are real dialed in on that. They're always thinking about that, so they've brought some good info. We just got to see what happens on Saturday with the wind. Yeah,
sometimes I've noticed from the kind of bird's eye view that
you mean up in the booth with the coffee and a
lot of coffee
and the warmth,
a lot of snacks.
Yeah,
Coach,
up there.
Listen,
that's where you get
windy on Saturday. What I've noticed in my climate-controlled booth. Listen, we open the windows sometimes, sure. Coach. Those windows go up. They go way up. Bill Stevens knows. It goes way. It's tough up there.
Yeah,
that's up. There's
it's hard
the
living.
Heater underneath. It's you got to let that heat rise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you need to take a break from the foot massages you get while you're calling games.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I get it.
It's tough. The flags on the goalpost are not always the same. Like, it'll be different on each side. So Mazza and the kickers are always kind of aware of that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of their money maker right there. Right. They got to know that.
Right. Hey, Lynn Carmichael wants to know: is Oregon? I'll tell you what. Let's shelve this question for the next segment for the opponent preview. Let's do that. All right, we'll do Oregon. We're talking Oregon next. Jennifer Delzer wants to know: were you at all surprised with how productive Deion McIntosh was on Saturday?
No, because of the training camp he had. I think he had flashes of that, since we started practicing.
Can you describe, follow-up question, what are the differences in style, strengths, and weaknesses between he and other running backs on the roster?
Well, there is Max is really quick feet. I think he's got really good vision. I think Deion has a little more power to his game, but has good long speed. Obviously showed good balance and agility. Markov is he looks huge, right? But for his size, he's much more athletic than you might give him credit for, as far as he catches the ball extremely well. He's not just a straight line guy. He's got some ability to cut, and I'm sure he's going to be fun to tackle in the cold.
He's a big boy, yeah.
And JoJo has showed in scrimmages, if he can get loose, there's not a lot of people that can catch him.
If he gets that edge, yeah. Hey, Lynn Carmichael, who will get to your question, Lynn, next segment, says he loves the duck call tweet from the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he loved it.
Good.
Drew Callahar has a picture of you.
Oh yeah, that's a Battle of the Palouse
with the hat on.
Yeah.
And he wants to know if that'll make a debut maybe on Saturday. That's his
probably
question.
not. It's hard to get the headsets over that thing.
That would be a trick.
Yeah.
That would be. It's a big. For those who can't see, it's on my Twitter feed. It's bigger than that one, though. I mean, that's a great one too.
This is it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, you got to fold it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, that would be tough. That was in practice today, though.
Yeah.
That was. Look, I mean,
cold.
Functionally, it's really warm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
Gives me some. I feel like an animal in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's got that kind of spirit to it.
That's right.
Keith wants to know, and I missed this, whose dog makes a cameo appearance in your latest
my dog.
video clip? Okay.
Yeah, that's Dixie.
Dixie.
Yeah, my baby girl.
There you go. Well, there you go, Keith.
I could bring Dixie to the show. She'll be good.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zeppos would have an issue with that.
She'll sit outside and wait.
Okay, yeah. Marshall wants to know, how much fun are you having with the videos and other content you're making to help us fans enjoy these rivalries? Thanks for making Cougar football more than a sport again, Marshall says. How much fun are you having?
I have a lot of fun. I tend to have a lot of fun. I hope, this is – it's really to spice up the conference. Let's have some fun with this thing. There's some people that have replied back with a little more anger than I thought would come back with a –
Really?
I don't know. I didn't think people were so sensitive about it. But it's – if we can raise the profile, the identity of the conference, I think, I'm going to try to do it.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Hey, we got to win games and all that stuff, but we should we should all work together to raise this conference up because we call ourselves the Conference of Champions, and I think we should do that.
Love that. Love it. WSU wide receiver, there's kind of like a Coug wide receiver Twitter handle, mentions you were the OC at Hawaii in 2010 with Bryant Moniz at QB. Does Delora or anyone on that Hawaii offense remind you of anyone on this Coug roster?
I think Marshawn Buchanan reminds me of Kealoha Polaris.
Okay. So let's talk about Marshawn because I don't think fans know Marshawn Buchanan yet. And then
you haven't seen him yet.
What's the comp there?
He was also in the running back room, came mid-year. We got here about the same time. He was an early enrollee, and we moved him to slot, very similar to what we did with Kealoha. Was a running back, was productive, and then moved to slot. I think he's really enjoyed learning the slot. It obviously took some time, but I think he's got a ton of athleticism. If we can get him going, he can be dangerous in the slot.
There you go. So if you're familiar with that 2010 team, then that's a good call.
I sent Kealoha's highlights to Marshawn so he can take a peek at it and see similar body type, similar running style, similar kind of life story in college football as far as running back to slot.
We've got more questions coming in here. I do need to take a break. We've got 12 minutes left. We're going to try to get them all in here to maybe go rapid fire. We're live here at Zeppo's with Coach Rolovich talking football. Coach Rolovich, as we're live talking about the 11th ranked Oregon Ducks. Cougs and Ducks 1-0 Pacific Northwest rivals coming up here on game week number 2 in 2020. Lynn Carmichael asks, is Oregon considered an RPO team? And let's talk about what that means. And then will our defensive adjustments from last week be easy adjustments to this week? So what is RPO and are the Ducks doing that?
The adjustments is a hard question to answer to see what they're going to do. Yeah, they do some RPOs.
And that's run-pass option.
Right. They do a little bit differently with us. They use a tight end, an off-the-ball tight end that'll, either divide zone where he'll slice the backside, he'll come out the back door, kind of like more of a traditional bootleg where you see the tight end slip out, but they're doing it more with the zone read action. They're getting the ball to the flat to the tight end a bunch, and he's turning it up. I think they were very effective throwing the ball downfield. Both sides of both receivers made big plays. But yeah, we're a 10 personnel RPO team. They can do it in various ways from different personnel groups.
DJ Johnson was that big tight end. He actually led them in receptions last game. He had 5.
Yeah, he caught a bunch of those ones out in the flat, whether it's wing set and flat corner. Just has leverage from the start, and the quarterback got it to him quick.
Duck running game was successful against Stanford with C.J. Verdell, Travis Dye, and the quarterback, Tyler Shuck.
Yeah. C.J.'s the real deal. All the running backs are, but he's the guy that gets the majority of the carries. He makes 3-yard gains into 5 and 6-yard gains, and he has the ability to just spring it and go. The QB, some design runs, but also took advantage of some man coverage and some passing lane breakdowns, and made people pay. He's looking to get out of bounds. He's looking to slide. I think that's probably how they coach him, and but he picked up big chunks that way.
How good are they defensively? They've got big recruits. Kayvon Thibodeau was a monster recruit.
Right.
Noah Sewell and Justin Flo are both 5-star backup linebackers, but they play a bunch.
Yeah, they play a bunch. It's funny. Obviously Thibodeau got a ton of attention because of how talented he is, and I think he even looks better this year. He's pretty savvy for a young player. I think he's, the accolades are deserved for him. A funny story about Noah Sewell. He's a true freshman over there. I recruited his oldest brother to Nevada, and in one of the last home visits, I don't even want to admit how old he was, but I said, "Come on, let's go outside and play basketball." He beat me in basketball. As like he must have been I don't know, 7th grader, 6th grader. I don't know what he was. But
did you offer him on this? Be like, hey,
I stay close with the family.
Yeah.
They got 4 boys that have all gone and played college football. So
yeah, one's at
really
Utah.
really nice people. I really enjoyed probably one of the best families. Just I got to know through recruiting. So
that's
I'm
fun.
excited to see Noah.
Fun story. Really, 4 tackles in his first game. Really,
yeah, he was
really
disruptive. He looked. You could see him as a true freshman in his communication with other linebackers. He's in charge, not in charge of the whole thing, but you can see he's locked in.
We're up against it. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Last segment next. Just a couple of minutes to go here live with Coach Rolovich.
Here's Matt Chazanow.
All right, about 60 seconds left. Coach, thank you so much, as always, for the time. We're going to do the raffle. I want to really quick, our two Coug Bucks pay it forward stories. Coug Bucks were given to a hairdresser who needed some help locally in town, and Karen helped out the Pullman Child Welfare in town. So that. Fantastic.
Thank you
fantastic
guys for doing
story.
that.
Thank you guys. Thanks to everybody who showed up.
Now, you know what the greatest thing about this weekend was?
What's that?
Landing back in Pullman about 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Matt waving the flag
Matt
in the snow.
Matt Kylo, Coug flag guy.
That was
awesome.
awesome.
Out there
that
waving
was
the
awesome.
flag. Jerry's son, fantastic.
Yep.
Thanks to Jerry Kylo. Thanks to Jared Penguber, to Jake Ramada back in the U.S. Bank Network studios. 2 o'clock their time, 4 o'clock kick on Saturday. Cougs against the Ducks.
There we go.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.